You ever notice how the people who care the most are usually the ones awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, replaying conversations word by word, wondering if they said something wrong, while the people who cause the stress are sleeping like they just completed a full skincare routine and booked a massage for the morning? That's usually where caring too much quietly starts turning into a weakness. Not all at once, not dramatically, but slowly, subtly, in ways you don't even notice at first. It begins as something beautiful and innocent, being kind, understanding, emotionally available, the person who listens without interrupting and helps without being asked. People praise you for it, call you sweet, dependable, mature, say things like, "You're different," or "I don't know what I'd do without you." And for a while that feels good because it makes you feel needed, seen, important, like you actually matter in a world that often feels rushed and careless. But over time, that same caring starts costing you more than it gives back. You slowly become the emotional emergency contact for everyone, the unpaid therapist, the problem solver, the one people call when they're broken, bored, lonely, or confused. Yet somehow, when you're the one struggling, you convince yourself to stay quiet because you don't want to be a burden. You say yes when your whole body wants to say no. You cancel your own plans because someone else needs you more. You adjust your boundaries until you barely recognize them, and still you feel guilty for even thinking about choosing yourself. You apologize when you haven't done anything wrong. You explain your intentions to people who already decided to misunderstand you, and you carry emotional responsibility that was never meant to be yours. Caring too much also turns your mind into a non-stop thinking machine. Not just thinking, but overthinking, where every late reply feels personal, every short message sounds like disappointment, every change in tone triggers self-doubt, and suddenly your brain is running a full investigation on why someone might be upset with you, even when there's no real evidence. The exhausting part is that the more you give, the more people expect, because kindness without limits slowly becomes an obligation in the eyes of those who benefit from it. Help someone once and you're kind, help them twice and you're reliable, help them all the time and you're taken for granted. And the moment you finally say, "I can't today," you're labeled selfish, distant, or changed. Caring too much also traps you in places you've outgrown. Friendships where you're always the one reaching out, relationships where you're doing all the emotional work, situations where you keep hoping someone will finally treat you better if you just try a little harder. You don't stay because you're weak. You stay because you remember who they were at their best, because you believe in their potential, because you tell yourself that love means patience and understanding, even when it quietly turns into self-abandonment. You fall in love with excuses, you defend people who hurt you, you confuse loyalty with suffering, and you ignore the fact that caring should never feel like constant exhaustion. Caring too much people are often the ones who send long, thoughtful messages and get replies like, "Okay," who remember birthdays, check in randomly, ask if others reached home safely, listen carefully to stories they've already heard 5 times, and still say, "I'm fine," when they're not, because they don't want to make things awkward. They absorb other people's emotions like a sponge, feeling responsible for fixing sadness, tension, silence, and distance, even when those feelings have nothing to do with them. The hard truth is that some people don't actually want care. They want convenience. They enjoy your availability, your understanding, your endless empathy, but they have no intention of giving the same energy back, not because they're evil, but because they're comfortable, and your kindness made it easy. Caring too much doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you were taught that love equals sacrifice, that being needed equals being valued, and that setting boundaries is rude or selfish. But boundaries aren't cruelty, they're clarity. And when you finally start choosing yourself, something interesting happens. You don't become cold, heartless, or distant. You simply become select. You still care deeply, just not at the cost of your peace, your self-respect, or your mental health. Some people will say you've changed, but what they really mean is you no longer allow unlimited access to your energy. Caring should feel warm, supportive, and mutual, not draining, confusing, or one-sided. And it only truly becomes a weakness when you forget that you deserve the same care, patience, and understanding that you so freely give to everyone else.